The first team to punch their ticket into the next round of the Pro Bouncy Ball playoffs has taken place. And if you expected the Suns to be that team, you are wrong. Wrong. It was Game 4, opening round. And if you didn't watch it, based on the ratings, you probably did not watch it. Anthony Edwards, he's good. Anthony Edwards had 40 points. He only had 9 in the first half, 31 in the second half. Karl Anthony Towns, better known as Cat because he plays like a pussycat, he had 28 points, and Minnesota went turbo time. Down the stretch, they pull away late, beat the Suns. They never really got a giant lead, but they played much better down the stretch. A 6-point win for the Minnesota basketball team, and the old broom. They sweep away the team from Arizona as Edwards in the second half was too much. He finished 13 of 23 from the floor, 7 of 13 from downtown. Ant-Man. He also had a rim-rattling hammer dunk, one-handed hammer dunk, with about 2 minutes to go in the game. You're watching on the Turner broadcast. You said, well, that's a pretty good play. At the time, it put Minnesota up by 4, and they would never give up the lead after that, and they end up winning the game. So Minnesota will now move on. They'll play Denver in the semifinals. But the better story is in the losing locker room, and so an epic fail. That's where we go. Epic fail for the Suns. Let us discuss what happened here. So the question, what is the most intriguing aspect? What is the most intriguing aspect of the Suns' meltdown? Not even able to win a single game against the youthful Timberwolves. So I've got Pentagon, Pockmarks, and Monopoly. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make pastrami fries, because that sounds good. I like pastrami fries. All right, so number one. Right. It is going to be enthralling for those of us that enjoy Schadenfreude. It'll be enthralling to see what happens next in Arizona. And what usually goes on, I don't see it being any different here, as I'm a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus. The way it's going to work in Arizona is the same way it works everywhere, self-preservation mode. It ain't my fault. That blankety-blank's the guy. Ain't my fault. I did my job. That's usually how these things go. Finger pointing here, there, and everywhere. But the difference is Matt Ishbia, the guy that paid $4 billion, with a B like Ben, $4 billion to buy the Phoenix basketball team. That's a lot of dough. We all know that. And he followed the Harley-Davidson model, go big or go home. He said, I'm going big. He went for it. And he picked up Bradley Beal, big trade from Washington. Originally, the first big move was Kevin Durant from the Brooklyn team, and they teamed those guys with Devin Booker, and it just did not work. There's one exception, though. Instead of go big or go home, it's go big and go home is how this went for the Suns. So now somebody's got to be the fall guy. Got to have a fall guy, and it would appear the smart money, based on the by-the-book, paint-by-numbers, follow-the-recipe, is to just human sacrifice Frank Vogel. Now, Vogel was very confident. Of course he was. He believes he'll keep the job with the Suns. The basic move would be get rid of Frank Vogel, give him the pink slip, and then make some cosmetic changes to the roster. That's what the normal move would be in this situation. But Matt Ishbia is a bit of a loose cannon, and he's got a basketball background. He was a bench warmer back in the day at Michigan State. So there's a bit of a basketball background there, and Matt Ishbia could also go like the Pentagon, shock and awe. Now, what would be the shock and awe move here? The shock and awe move would be to trade Devin Booker, to get rid of Devin Booker and say, bye-bye, get out of here. Now, Booker had a massive stat line in this game. Normally, he vanishes in closeout games. Normally, Devin Booker is nowhere to be seen in closeout games. But in this game, he put up a big stat line, not that it mattered. as the Suns still ended up losing. There's a lot of empty stats on Booker. You can get a fair amount for him, and the Suns would then have Durant and Bradley Beal, and then whoever they get for Devin Booker. So that would be the move. Or the other possibility is that Kevin Durant, who's never loyal to anyone, just says, screw this. I don't want to stay here. I'm in my late 30s. I only have a couple years left of good basketball. I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to a team that's good, and you're not good, and I don't want to sit here and play for your sorry-ass team. I'm a wanderer. I want to go somewhere else. All right, now, we head to Philadelphia, where Jalen Brunson, we were skeptical when the Knicks got him from the Mavericks. We're like, was this guy really going to be able to play the way he did in the playoffs for the Mavericks? Well, yes, the answer is a resounding yes. And Jalen Brunson had 47 points. And New York takes a commanding lead over Philadelphia, 3-1 over the Knickerbockers. The story here, though, was the infestation of the Knickerbocker fan that overtook the Delaware Valley. There's a clip. We'd play it for you, but we're not allowed to play the word, of inside the arena in Philadelphia after the game as the Knickerbocker fans are making their way down the escalators to go out into the sky there, the afternoon sky in Philadelphia, and they are serenading you know who, Embiid, Embiid, but they're saying the full word, so we can't play it. And when I say a lot of Knick fans, I didn't see any Sixer fans. It looked like 1,000 fans of the New York pro basketball team. I bring that up because Joel Embiid, following the game, Joel Embiid said that he was frustrated. He implied that he was annoyed that the Philly fan, the well-regarded, boisterous, in-your-face Philly fan, that they sold their tickets, that there was a hostile takeover of Knickerbocker patrons in Philly. So how does this happen? How did we get to that point where you have a hostile takeover by the Knickerbocker fans? So the way I look at this, it's pockmarks. The P in that would be proximity. Ergo, less than 100 miles from New York City to Philadelphia. I've made that trip. It's not that far at all. It's like going from L.A. to San Diego. What we have here, we do the show from L.A. It's a close, short trip. So proximity, and then the O for opportunity, right? Because there was an opportunity to price gouge. If you're a Philadelphia season ticket holder, a Sixers fan, you had tickets to that game, there's an opportunity for you to price gouge and make a quick buck off the New Yorkers that are all gung-ho. And then the C part of the pockmark would be cloudy, as in the cloud of negativity around the Sixers. They're not good enough. This is not their year. They're not going to win. They're going to lose the series anyway, so you might as well make some money. And that's what a number of people did. Philadelphia has been regarded as one of the great sports towns. You think of American sports, you think Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. Passion, anger, rage, it just matters a little more, supposedly, in those places. However, what we realize is when you pull back the curtain, ultimately, we've all got bills to pay, no matter whether you're a bigger sports fan in Philly than you would be somewhere else. But I look at it like it's even though it's got this great reputation, when you peel back that curtain, it's really no different than Miami or L.A. Like, hey, team's probably not that good. They're not going to win this year. Let's make some money. Somebody else wants the tickets. We can charge double or triple and make a quick buck. Why not? And help us out a little bit, a little more comfortable. What the hell? Why not? It's not like the Sixers lower the ticket prices or any of these teams in professional sports looking out for the little guy. They don't care about that. All right, final point. We head to the Field House in Indy, where the Bucks and the Pacers, they also played on Sunday. Little pro bouncy ball. Someone named Miles Turner, I am told that is a center for the Indiana basketball team. He scored a bunch of three-point shots. He knocked down 7 3-pointers. The center for the Pacers knocked down 7 3-pointers. He had 29 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And as a franchise, Indiana broke the all-time record for them. Most three-point shots made in a single playoff game, 22 three balls as they defeated the shell of the Milwaukee basketball team, as they did not have their big gun. Giannis Antetokounmpo says, hey, I'm like Kawhi Leonard. I don't have to play. And Dame Lillard unable to play for the Milwaukee basketball team. The Bucks without their stars. So where do things go from here as Milwaukee on death doorstep? They are on the brink of elimination, down 3-1. Indiana up in that series. So where do things go from here for Doc Rivers and Milwaukee? I will answer that question. So the way this works here, for Doc, this could not have worked out better. This is a dream come true for Doc Rivers, because no one is going to blame Doc Rivers for Milwaukee losing this series. I said, no one's going to blame him. It's not going to happen, right? And so it's the perfect monopoly card for Doc. Doc can say, hey, I got my card right here from the bottom of the deck. Get out of coaching purgatory card for Doc Rivers. He can just shrug his shoulders and say, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. We would have won if we had Giannis. If Dame hadn't gotten hurt, we would have been right there. We would have won this thing. Not my fault. And sure, of course, it would have been spectacular if those guys had played, because to see them lose. After game one, we thought, well, there's no way the Bucks can screw this up. They're just so much better from top to bottom than Indiana. And Giannis hasn't played a game in this series. But in the end, Lillard got hurt, and now the Pacers are this close to advancing and moving on. And the good thing for Doc also is you cannot mathematically impossible to blow a 3-1 series lead if you trail 3-1 instead of leading 3-1. So good news for Doc.